Welcome to Holistic Happiness Club, a place where we discuss every aspect of happiness. We are doing an ongoing series about workplace stress and anxiety. We are discussing its problem that can cause stress at workplace. We are discussing their solutions. We are discussing some tips and tricks which you can apply immediately in your daily work routine and lower the level of your stress. This is the third part of that ongoing series. And in today's part, we are going to discuss three different problems that can cause stress at workplace and their solutions. We are also going to discuss 5 tips and tricks which you can apply immediately in your daily work routine and lower the level of your stress, increase the happiness quotient. So stay tuned till the end because third and fourth are my personal favorite. Hi, my name is Akshay Tiwari. I'm your host and holistic happiness coach. My specialty is to combine Eastern philosophies with Western science and cutting edge research and to bring out the best of both worlds to you. So, without further delay, let's begin today's episode. All right, so let's begin our today's episode. So, let's talk about the problem number one. And the problem number one is interpersonal conflicts. So it happens a lot of time that we do not agree with our colleagues, maybe our subordinates, maybe our seniors. And it is because we have to understand the root of the problem that why this happens. It is because that there are multiple ways to solve a problem, right? So we will have one way to solve a problem, and we will look at that way as the only credible way to solve the problem. Whereas the same thing is going on in others' mind as well. They are also seeing another solution as the only credible solution to that problem. So when this view conflicts, when we do not agree with each other about solving the problem in one way or the other, in my way or their way, then this problem arises. And sometimes this becomes personal also. Sometimes it comes from the personal issues and it comes in the product and in the organization. So there are various reasons, but root in all the reasons is that we are not agreeing with the other person on their point of view. So I want to highlight here two things if you want to resolve this problem. So there are two things that we have to always remember. There is point number one is that there are multiple ways, there are multiple views towards the same thing. There are multiple perspective towards the same thing, and it's never that your way is the right way or someone else's way is the right way. So that is number one. So when you remember this point, you will always try to see another perspective for the same problem, another solution for the same problem, right? So you will try to understand from where the other person is coming from. And if you will try to understand that from where the other person is coming from, the chances are that you will be able to you will be able to understand what the other person is trying to convey. All right. So always remember that there are multiple ways, there are multiple perspectives towards the same situation and same problem. The point number two, which is very, very important to remember, that the only credible way to resolve interpersonal conflicts is open and respectful communication. I'll repeat this again. The only credible way to resolve interpersonal conflicts is open and respectful communication. You see, even when we disagree, when we try to find out what is common in our point of views, we'll for sure we'll find a common ground. And that can be the starting point. We can come together, sit together, and we can agree, we can find out that these are the points on which we are agreeing. These are the points on which we are not agreeing. And then try to discuss and try to communicate openly and respectfully. Openly, by openly I mean you should be open to other perspective, and respectfully when you are trying to impose your point, when you are trying to put your point across, do not be mean, do not be rude, always respect other person's view as well. So when we discuss in that way, I'm sure there will come out some or the other thing through which we can resolve this conflict. All right. So this was point number one. Let's move to problem number two. which is organizational changes. You see, restructuring, downsizing, or changes in the leadership, that always happens. And as we have discussed in the first episode, that any kind of change brings stress. So this will always happen. And some kind of or the other change will always keep on happening in the organization. So we have to prepare ourselves in such a way that all those changes are not affecting us and not bringing stress, too much stress in our life. Right. So how can we do that? How can we solve this problem? How can we navigate through organizational changes so that we are not affected that much mentally? So number one, that we have to accept that the changes which we are seeing, that is part of the game. As long as we are in the professional career, some or the other kind of changes will always keep on happening. Sometimes there will be downsizing, sometimes there will be leadership change, sometimes there will be merger, some other company will acquire our company will acquire some other company, and this way some or the other changes will keep on happening. If you look around you, everywhere this kind of change is always happening. Change is inevitable. So this is point number one, that you have to accept change is inevitable. It will always happen. And point number two is, as this also we have discussed in our previous episode, that when things are changing, you have to look for, you see this change is not in your hand. It is not in your control. What you need to look for, that what is in your control. In your control, it is that how you present yourself in the new environment, how you try to grab new opportunities in this new environment, how you look towards this new environment. All this mindset, all these things are which are in your mind, this is in your control. How you progress, how you upgrade yourself, all these things are in your control. So focus on what you can control in all this. Right? So the organizational changes, while this is not in your hand, the changes which is going on with you, that is in your hand. So focus on that. That was point number two. Focus on what you can control. Focus on controllables. And point number three, all kind of changes brings some or other opportunities with them. So try to look for those opportunities. Try to look at change as if this is the way to get new opportunity. When you look at change from this angle, you will be happy about change rather than being disappointed by change. Now, as we have discussed, any kind of change, happy or disappointed, that brings similar amount of stress. But here's the catch, that if it is a positive stress, you are more equipped, your body and your mind is more prepared to take on that change because it is bringing positive changes in your life. So look at change from a positive angle, that this change is going to bring some opportunities to grow, and try to look for, when you shift your mindset in the change, you will try to find the opportunities, then for sure you will find those opportunities in those changes. Right? So these are the 3 points. Number one, accept change is inevitable. Number two, focus on controllables. Number three, look at change from the positive mindset, that this change is going to bring some opportunities to you. So all right, so here completes the point number two. Now we will start point number three, which is lack of work-life balance. And it happens with all of us. I do not have to explain this point, what is the problem here. What happens when there is too much of work demands from us too much, then the boundaries between the professional life and personal life can become blur. Our work life starts encroaching in our personal life. You can say our work time starts encroaching in our personal time. So what you need to do here is, in this case, you have to prioritize the most important thing from both the worlds. You see, it will happen all the time. Sometimes your work will demand too much from you, and sometimes your personal life will also demands too much from you, that you are not able to provide everything 100% to your work. Right? So in that case, in either case, you have to prioritize the most important and uncompromisable things in both the worlds, in personal world and professional world. That these are the personal things which I cannot compromise at any cost, no matter how much work is demanding from me. And same goes for the work, that these are the things which I cannot compromise no matter what is going on in my personal life. So that's how you can think that okay, now this uncompromisable things are being compromised, or at the stage that this can be compromised, then you can become vocal at your work that see, I cannot take this anymore. And the way you say it is by creating boundaries, right? So we will discuss at tip number 2 about the same thing. So in a nutshell, you have to prioritize your work, you have to prioritize your tasks in hand in the workplace, and you have to also prioritize the most important and uncompromisable things in your personal life also. All right, so this was point number 3, and here we finish the problems and solutions, and now we will discuss about tips and tricks. All right, let's begin discussing the tips and tricks which you can use in your workplace to bring down the stress. So tip number 1 is aromatherapy at workplace. So what is aromatherapy? So the definition comes like the aromatherapy is the practice of using essential oils for therapeutic benefits. Aromatherapy has been used for centuries. When inhaled, the scent of molecules in essential oils travels from the olfactory nerves directly to the brain, especially impacting the amygdala, the emotional center of the brain. So this is just a jargon. So in a nutshell, what this is trying to say is that when you inhale some essential oils, some natural scents, that tends to bring down the level of stress. And when stress comes down, the inflation comes down, it gives all sorts of benefit, physical and mental. So but we are discussing from the point of view of bringing down the stress. So let me take you back to the evolution, which because I very much like to talk about evolution and history. So think of a scenario when you are stressed, when a tiger is chasing you. Think that when a tiger is chasing you, will you stop for a jasmine flower to take the smell of that flower? No, right? So when you are inhaling something good, that is only when you are relaxed. So this has been our evolution, and it works in the other way around as well. So when you inhale something good, it gives the signal to the brain that you are relaxed, even if you are not. So it can bring down the stress level. So keep some essential oil at your desk, or maybe some real flower. Keep something natural, not artificial. uh, Try to keep something, a real flour or some organic essential oil, and smell that time to time. So that can bring down the stress, and it has been proven by the studies also. I'm not making this up. So this was tip number 1. Tip number 2 is creating boundaries, as we were discussing about lack of work-life balance. So creating boundaries can promote the work-life balance. In fact, this is the only way that you can promote work-life balance, when you create boundaries. What happens that when there is something new which is assigned to us, when there is a lot of work, lot of pressure going on, and when something new is assigned to us, we fear saying no to that task, thinking that if we will say no to that task, we will be seen as incompetent. But the reality is different. Reality is you will be seen incompetent if you are not able to finish what is already on your plate. So what is the point if you are already overloaded and you take up a new task? Instead, it is far better to say that, hey, listen, I'm already having too much in my plate. I will not be able to finish that on time if I will take this new task. I will not be doing justice to the work which is already in hand and to this new task as well. So it is better that I stick to whatever I am already having in my plate. Let me finish that one, and if time permits to me, I will take up the new task. Right? If you are stating this much very clearly, and remember that you have to be honest about your assessment according to you, not according to anyone. Maybe there is some super productive person who can finish all the tasks in maybe half the time which you are taking. That's perfectly okay, that's their productivity, that's not your productivity. But think honestly once, that whether you are being true to yourself, you are allocating, you are giving your 100% and taking up the task which is in your hand, which is in your plate, and the time which you have allocated to those tasks, that is true to yourself. If it is true to yourself, then that's it. You cannot do anything else than that. You can push a little bit, that's fine. But when, if you are thinking that this is already too much in my plate, straight away say no. Create the boundaries that I will take up this much, I will do that much. Create boundaries and protect yourself. And those boundaries should be based on honesty, not based on that I do not want to work, right? So that was tip number 2, creating boundaries. Tip number 3 is very powerful if applied correctly. It is called affirmations. Affirmations, for so many people, it may look like that it's a wishy-washy thing, but it's not so. It is said that you are what you repeat. So if you repeat positive sentences to yourself, you become those positive sentences. You become that positive energy. And when you approach a task with that positive energy, chances are that you are going to finish that much faster. So affirmations are very powerful tool if applied correctly. I'll maybe dedicate another episode on affirmations alone, that how you can use the power, how you can leverage the power of affirmations in your work routine and in your daily life as well. There is a process behind it, there is a science behind it as well. So affirmations, uh, meanwhile, if you can go to YouTube and there are tons and tons of videos about affirmations, and you can learn from them as well. So this was tip number 3, affirmations. Tip number 4 is attitude of gratitude. You see, in my whole career, there have been people who have been criticizing the company in which they were working, in which I was working. But I chose deliberately that I will never criticize the company in which I am working. And if I have to criticize, I'm not talking about the positive criticism, I'm talking about the bitching part here. If I have to say some things which are not good about the workplace in which I'm working, that's the day I will leave the workplace. I will leave that workplace, I'll go somewhere else. Because my point is, try to find out positive things in the workplace. If you are creating negativity, so let's say there are some problems in the workplace, there will always be. In every place you go, there will always be some good things, some bad things. So if you are looking at bad things and constantly talking about those bad things, you are enhancing those bad things inside your mind, right? So you are creating an environment inside your head that this working place is not at all good for you. And when there is this environment inside your head that this working place is not good for you, and every day you are going to the same place, what you are doing to yourself? You are going to a negative place. You are sabotaging your growth because you are going to a negative place every single day. So it is best not to bitch about wrong things about the workplace. Instead, try to look for the positive things. Make a practice every day that you will, when you will go to work, you will pick up one thing and express your gratitude towards that one thing. It should be different every day. You don't have to tell anyone, you don't have to express to anyone, you just have to be grateful for that particular thing. It can be your workstation, it can be the person who cleans your workstation every day, It can be the air condition in that building which is giving you the comfy feeling. It can be the cafeteria in that feeling which is in that building which is giving you some me time to think about and pass through the day. It can be a colleague who is helping you. It can be your subordinate. It can be your manager. It can be anything. Just be grateful about one thing at your workplace, and you will see that how that energy creates the ripple effect, and that takes you throughout the day positively. And when you go throughout the day positively, you take up on the task with positive energy and you finish them faster. You become much more productive. So that was tip number 4, attitude of gratitude. All right, so tip number 5 is deep breathing at work. Again, I will take you back to the evolution. So suppose that a tiger is chasing you. Will you have time to breathe deep? No, right? Once the chasing is done, once you are safe, only then you will have time to say, right? So deep breathing deep happens only when you are at rest. And when you are breathing deep, it gives the mind a signal that you are at rest, that you are relaxed, that everything is cool now. So take a moment. It does not cost anything. It does not take extra time from your daily work routine. Just pause for a second, take a deep breath, and exhale it through the mouth. It will take away all the stress and the tension from inside the body. And if possible, visualize when you are taking in, when you are inhaling, when the air is inside your lungs, do one thing, that put all your tension and stress in that air visually. Visualize that all your tension, all the stress you are pumping in that air. And when you are exhaling it through the mouth, all that tension and all that stress is going away. That's a short, powerful way. It's a very, very powerful way to burn the stress out. Yes. So that was tip number 5. That is all from today's episode. We have discussed 3 problems, their solution, and 5 tips that you can apply immediately to reduce the stress. Let me also add that I have written an ebook on the same topic, and the title is The Definitive Guide to Go from Stressful to Stress-Free at Workplace. This ebook, as of now, this is available for free and you can download it from my website. My website is akshaytiwari.in. You can also connect with me on Instagram and Facebook. You can join the VIP Facebook group. That is also with the same name, Holistic Happiness Club. And my Instagram handle is Happiness Architect, and Instagram is the place where I'm most active. So you can join me in all those social media handles. And till the time we are seeing each other next time, see you. Bye bye. Take very good care of yourself, take care of your family members, your loved ones, and the people around you. Bye bye. God bless you. Peace.